How does a player out of step with the modern game survive in today's NBA? That question now belongs to Jeremy Sochan. The Spurs and Sochan reached a contract buyout, parting ways amicably, and he quickly resurfaced with the Knicks, a move that felt sudden, but not entirely surprising. San Antonio selected Sochan with the number 9 overall pick in the 2022 draft. It was the franchise's highest draft position since taking Tim Duncan in 1997, a selection that carried the weight of a rebuild on its shoulders. Sochan impressed as a rookie, starting 53 games and averaging 11 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. He flashed the versatility to guard positions 1 through 5 and was even experimented with at point guard to expand his playmaking ceiling. At the time, he was viewed as a foundational piece. Head coach Gregg Popovich once praised him as a Swiss Army knife for the small ball era. But by early 2026, at just 22 years old, Sochan had fallen completely out of the rotation. This season, he appeared in only 28 games, all off the bench, averaging 12.8 minutes, 4.2 points, 2.7 rebounds, and 1 assist. He shot 47.5% from the field but just 25.7% from 3. After the calendar flipped to 2026, he logged only 7 garbage time appearances before being waived. His Spurs tenure ended as a cautionary tale, a promising rise that flattened out quickly. The reality is that Sochan never made the necessary offensive leap. For years into his development, he still hadn't built a reliable jumper or developed a consistent interior scoring package. His best offense remained cutting to the rim and finishing in space, a skill, but one that compresses spacing in today's game. With players like Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, Devin Vassell and Victor Wembanyama needing floor spacing to operate efficiently, Sochan's lack of shooting became increasingly problematic. When he stood beyond the arc, defenses were comfortable leaving him alone to load up elsewhere. It's not just Sochan. Players without perimeter gravity are finding it harder to stay on the floor in this era. Defensively, he still offered value. He could switch across positions, guard wings, and even battle up a spot against some 4s and small ball 5s. But his defensive impact never reached a level high enough to offset his offensive limitations. Castle and others could replicate much of his point-of-attack defense, and he wasn't strong enough to anchor against true centers. Gradually, the opportunities dried up. The Spurs also struggled to define his role. In an effort to maximize his versatility and mask his shooting weakness, they tried molding him into a point forward. The experiment stalled. His handle was solid for a forward, but his decision-making and ability to operate in tight spaces never developed enough to justify a primary ball-handling role. Too limited offensively, not elite defensively, and unable to run the offense, Sochan eventually became expendable. The on-off numbers underscored it. With Sochan on the floor this season, San Antonio scored 105.1 points per 100 possessions and was outscored by 10.7. When he sat, the Spurs jumped to 117.8 points per 100 possessions and outscored opponents by 8.5. For Sochan, a fresh start in New York might be the best possible outcome. A new franchise represents a reset. The Knicks gain a versatile defensive forward on the wing. They'll also have to live with the same question San Antonio ultimately couldn't answer: can he space the floor enough to stay on it?